I always would say people, places, and things are either a lesson or a blessing. But the beauty of it is to remember there's a blessing in every lesson learned. Welcome back to the channel. It's your girl Gabrielle Ariana. And before we get into the video, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and turn on the post notification bell so you are notified every time I upload a video. Okay, so as you guys can see from the title, I will be continuing my words from the Wise series. It has been a very long time since I really uploaded anything or, you know, tap back into my stuff. Even though I've been away, I do have like, I'm such like a quote person, so I have like videos and quotes, and you know, whether it's a song, a saying from a movie, something someone told me, I just always have that somewhere written down for this specific like series on my channel. I guess I could do a refresher since it's been a long time since I've actually released the episode, but essentially this series is just dropping gems and like, you know, a piece of wisdom from people. They're essentially quotes that I've seen in the movies, clips that I've come across, something from a song, something someone's told me, like I just said, that I feel like resonates with me, or something that I just want to expand on and give my personal input and perspective onto what was said, and like kind of what I learned from it. So yeah, that's basically what the series is. And I feel like, you know, when you release that type of information out to the universe, who knows who's going to come across the video, because you can see a quote or something and it can be something to you different than what it would mean to someone else. So like what I get from what I talk about in this episode would be probably completely different than what the next person may probably got when they first seen the clip or the video, and kind of gives you the ability to pick your own brain in a sense. So that's basically what this is. Eventually I want to like branch out and have other people kind of give their input as well on quotes and stuff, but I just haven't gotten there yet. Don't really have people to branch out to, but when I do, I will do that. So yeah, I'm talking so much. So today we're going to be talking about a quote from the amazing DMX, Earl Simmons. And people don't know this, but I actually was a huge DMX fan. I really loved him. He plays in like a couple movies that I really love, and I'm a movie fanatic, a movie head. And also he has some really great songs. However, it's so funny because this quote that I'm going to be talking about is what resulted into me, like, I really just recently re-tapped into like my, like, you know, how much of a supporter I am of him through this quote. Because like I kind of have my phases of being like, what's the word, invested in certain people or celebrities, whatever you want to call them, and kind of not forget about the ones that I once used to be like obsessed over, but just kind of put them to the side and try to learn learn a new person's craft and their art and who they are. Because when I'm invested in, like, you know, musical artists, actors, actresses, whether they're influencers, whatever they are, I'm invested. I like to really get to know like who they are as much as I can through social media and like, you know, interviews and stuff. So I love to watch interviews of people. And a clip, this specific clip that I'm going to be talking about, resurfaced on, I want to say, I think I found it on, and I normally don't get on Facebook like that. I don't really, like, I'm not active on Facebook. I'm really more active on Twitter and Instagram than any other platform. And I get now YouTube. I'm getting back into it. But I think I first seen this clip on Facebook, and I was obsessed with it. This was back in March. So like when I first seen it, I shared it on literally all of my social media handles. Like I posted it on my Snapchat story, I reshared it on Facebook, I shared it on Instagram story, I shared it on Twitter, and I was like, yeah, everyone has to see this. Like if I seen it, I know everyone has to see it. And yeah, so I'm gonna input the clip now so you guys can see it.
Trust everyone to be themselves, but trust in the fact that you can see them well. I mean, so it's like, you know, trust. It takes too much energy to not trust someone. You know what I mean? It takes too much energy. You only got to stay 2 steps ahead of them, whatever. Right. But trust them to beat them.
Right. To beat themselves.
Trust a snake to bite you. Right. Trust a lion to lie from you. Trust a thief to steal from you. Like, trust them to beat them. Too. But know them when you see them.
So that's essentially what it is. But the main quote that really stuck out to me was him saying, Always trust everyone to be themselves, but trust in fact you see them well. And baby, that is a word. That is a word. That is wisdom. That is a man who has experienced a lot of different types of people, who've seen different types of people, seen how people operate, and just like, you had to just learn something like that to be able to just put that, to beautifully phrase it the way that it's phrased is really like my overall, like, wow, the way that it's phrased is beautiful. It's beautifully written, it was beautifully worded, and it's essentially like, it's kind of like, personally to me, straightforward. Like, if you don't get it, you don't get it. But yeah, you have to trust people to be themselves, but you have to trust that you see them well. And it was so like, it hit to me so much that I actually journaled about it in my journal. And I was just sitting here thinking like, okay, I need to do words from the wise. What quote? Because I was looking through my phone and I'm like, nope, Gabby, you're working hard, not smart. I already have a quote because I've already reflected on it like back in March when I first seen it, because it was so, it sucked to me. And the reason why it sucked to me personally is because I am someone who is not really like opening to other people, or like I used to before seeing this video. I even wrote it in my journal. Like, let me say exactly what I said just so y'all can know. I said, I used to be someone who took pride in saying I don't trust people or have trust issues. Neither one of those things are something to be proud of or take pride in saying. And then I went further about like, you know, why I felt that way. But yeah, essentially I used to be someone I'd be like, yeah, I don't trust nobody, I have trust issues, and say it proudly. Like, I would wear that on my sleeve, tattoo it on my forehead, and be like, no, I don't trust anyone. And I just learned, like, now you just can't live life with that type of attitude, with that type of mindset, because you're limiting yourself through meeting like people that have good intentions or pure intentions, or just who you can learn from. Like, I look at everything, absolutely everything in life, as a learning lesson. As far as people I meet, how I meet them, where I meet them, experiences I've had, like encounters, even if it's someone I'm just talking to for a few seconds. Like, everything in life is a lesson to be learned. I always would say, people, places, and things are either a lesson or a blessing. But the beauty of it is to remember there's a blessing in every lesson learned. So whether you want to consider something or a situation or a circumstance as a blessing or a lesson, always know that essentially they're both, because every lesson you're learning is a blessing to you, because now you have another gem that you have. Like, you have wisdom from the experience. You learned something from the experience. You're going to learn from everything that you go through, and what you go through, you grow through. Girl, that was like different quotes that I done seen, but I gotta put together. But no, the blessings and lessons is something that I always say. I've never heard anybody else say that. I've never came across it being said by anyone else. So that's my own quote. Either you're a lesson or a blessing, but there's a blessing in every lesson learned. When I seen this quote, it really like hit me and it slapped me in my face. Like, cause girl, that's exactly what you need to be doing. You shouldn't be going around saying like, I don't trust nobody. No, I trust everyone. I absolutely trust every single person I come across. Everybody. But like he said, you have to trust people. You have to trust the fact that you see people for exactly who they are. He further on went to say that it takes too much energy to not trust someone. And I'm like, yeah, that's true. It's almost like you think of positive, negative, right? To not trust someone is a negative notation. To trust someone is a positive notation, right? So if I trust you, it's effortless. I'm not putting as much energy into it. I'm accepting it for what it is. Exactly what it is, right? To not trust someone, you have to think of, he talked, you're gonna see, but he says, like, you know, you have to keep up what people are saying, what they're doing, who they're saying, all of that. It's just too much. And that's stuff that I used to really do, like, oh, you said this to me at this time, but then for what? For why? Trust that the person is going to be exactly who they are. I'm gonna trust that you told me this one thing and you did something completely opposite, or you did this one thing and you said something completely opposite. I trust you to be someone who essentially doesn't keep their words, or the things that they say does not match up to the things that they do. And that's what it is. I trust you to be exactly who you are. And another thing that I wanted to touch on is, like, I think us as people, we need to, okay, so it's kind of like you can't win for losing situation. We see beyond the surface of people, right? We see the potential of who they are, the potential that they have to be something great. And we also see naturally, I feel like I'm not the only person to do this. There's no way. We have this idea of who people are based off of what we were presented through experiencing them in our head. So essentially what I'm saying is, like, someone can meet me, right? Or you just even watching my YouTube videos, people can have this idea of who they think that I am in their head and go off of that. I've heard so many different scenarios. If you think like celebrities and people are like, oh, I thought you were, let's say, I don't even know anyone off the top of my head, but like any type of celebrity, right? And you just, based off of their interviews or their music or whatever, you assume this because we as people equate things to something else, and what we equate it to be does not necessarily is what the next person will equate it to be. I always say that people have their own definitions of things because we, as people do, I equate, you know, some people equate like when you're being really nice to someone as flirting, and then other people be like, well, I'm just being nice, so me being nice is me being nice. Someone else might think me being nice to this person is me flirting with them or me liking them like that, but that's not the case. But I always say you have your own definition of things. So I'm saying this all to say, like, you could see someone and kind of view them from an outside perspective or like an inside perspective because you met them, have this idea, and then we go off of that idea that we have in our head. And then when we're slowly getting presented of who they are truly as a person, and it's not that idea that we have, we get disappointed. And it's like, damn, because you have expectations of who someone is based off how they present themselves to you, but also based off of how you view them personally through, you know, your own personal lens and how you equate their actions to mean certain things and all of that stuff. Whew, that was a mouthful. So yeah, basically I'm saying, like, we have to see beyond the surface of people of what they portray themselves to be, because sometimes what they portray themselves to be is not exactly who they are. That's not their true intentions. I am someone who's very, very strong on intentions, and like, you know, intentions matter to me because it's the root, and I wrote that in my journal as well, it's the root cause, the reason why you're doing what you're doing. And you know, whether those intentions are good or bad, I don't know what people's intentions are, but you only know your own intentions. But I feel like you have to see beyond the surface of who people are, but you also have to remember to come back to the surface, because that's, again, what they're showing you to be. So, like, you know, trust a person to be exactly who they are in front of you. If that is someone, like he said, his analogy was a snake to bite you, a liar to lie from you, and a thief to steal from you. If you know a thief and you know someone is known for stealing, don't think that that one special person that they won't steal from, because you're going to be very disappointed when they come around and steal from you. But you knew that they were a thief. You knew that there was a chance that they could steal something of yours. You know, when you're when you're talking to someone who's known for lying or not really, you know, keeping their word or whatever, there's a chance that the stuff that they're telling you are not 100% true. Trust that, and you go off of that, and you act accordingly with people. I've learned that you have to act accordingly with people. I've seen people act a certain way, talk about people a certain way, and then go and be friends with them and be cool with them. Okay, so now that lets me know that very thing that you're doing with them, you could definitely be doing when it comes to me. So nothing is off limits. Like, we have to see people for who they are and not this idea we have in our heads. I feel like I know people meet someone and it's like you have a bomb conversation with someone or whatever and be like, oh, okay, they're this type of person. They're that type of person in the moment that you talk to them. But you have to trust someone to be exactly who they are every time you see them. Don't go off just that one encounter, because people will do a 180 on you quick, like with a snap of the finger, and you're gonna be like, what? That's crazy. So essentially what I'm saying is, what I learned from this is to trust people to be exactly who they are every moment that I'm around them. And that's what it is. And I feel people should do the same thing when it comes to me too. Like, you think you know someone very well until you realize you don't. Another quote, I want to make another, actually I'm not going to quote it because I really want to make that another video, it just came to mind, is, you think you know someone until you don't. I feel like you know people, you know things about people, but you don't never really fully know anyone, because I don't even think people fully know themselves ever. Like, we're constantly growing. You're constantly, like, your mind is always changing, and it's, you know, I guess it depends on someone who's stagnant or not, but and how like willing they are to learn and grow, whatever, and what, you know, all that stuff. But essentially, you don't really ever really fully know someone, because you think you know someone until you realize how much you don't know somebody, and then it's like you get disappointed because you just, oh, I know them so. I learned that I don't know nobody. No, I don't know anyone. I just know who people are in the moments that I have encountered them, in the moments that I've experienced them. That's what I know. I only know up to what I know until I am presented with new information. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, like, don't nobody fully know me. Can't nobody on this earth be like, I know Gabby. No, you don't. I barely know me. I'm still learning me. I'm still getting to know me. So can't no one say they truly know me. I can't say I truly know anyone else. And I think that's an equation of what I got from this specific quote is trust people to be exactly who they are, but also trust that you see them. And that goes into like your intuition and your gut feelings. I feel like people don't like to rely on that, because then you feel like you're assuming something, or you're going off the deep end, or you're turning nothing into something. I am someone who is very intuitive, and my gut feeling be right. And the times that I don't listen to it, God will slap me in the face and be like, see, you should listen to it. I gave you a gut intuition for a reason. Listen to it. Listen to your gut. If you come around someone, or you meeting someone, or you are in the energy of someone else, and you just feel like, nope, then that's what it is. And that's okay. Like, I feel like people be so wrapped up around like, oh, you don't like people for no reason. That's not even the case. Sometimes you just encounter someone and you just don't see yourself encountering them again, because your energy would just not allow it. I have been around people where I'm just like, my energy would not allow me to be in the same room with these people. I could tolerate being in the same room with these people, but I can't pretend to have a conversation with you and pretend to be like he and ha when I know that something is telling me like, I don't need to be around your energy. I don't need to pick up your energy, and you don't need to pick up mine. So, you know, you just have to trust people to be who they are, but you also have to, having trust in someone else requires you to have trust in yourself. You have to trust yourself enough to see someone as who they are. That's what he said. Trust everyone to be themselves, but you have to trust that you see them well. That relies heavily on your own trust in yourself, and how much, you know, you trust your intuition. And that is my spiel on this quote. I really love it. I will link in the description the entire interview, because the interview is an hour long. It is still crazy to me that like DMX transitioned, because when I tell you I was in my peak of like, okay, let me go and check his new stuff out, old stuff out. I watched this interview. It was a really great interview. This interview is really, really amazing. And this is just like a freaking tip of like the iceberg of what he talked about in this interview. He talked about a lot of stuff, and it was very like just wisdom and knowledge and just gems just from life lessons and all types of stuff. It's a really great interview, so I do recommend people watch it. I'll link it below for y'all to see. But let me know in the comment section how you feel about the quote, or just trust in general. Like, what do you consider trust to be? Because like I said earlier, we all have our own definitions of words and things. So, you know, trust to me may not be what trust is to you. But if you made it to the end of this video, you might as well like, comment, and subscribe. And make sure you turn on post notification bell on so you're notified whenever I upload a video. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.